Welcome to Between State Lines.
Welcome back to Between State Lines, episode 48. Um, and I say this every single week, but I wish we can go 1 week without like something happening. Like just one week. Just 1 week.
Impossible. Not in this timeline.
Not and I miss Joe Biden. And it's not like Joe Biden was a great president, but it's like at least with Joe Biden, I knew like I could go probably a month without being stressed every single day.
Yeah. Because not a lot was happening. But yeah, I kind of miss that. This every day. It doesn't matter. And sometimes I'm like, oh, was I a little bit behind? What, did this come out like weeks ago and I'm just now seeing? Nope. That was in the last 24 hours.
But I will say, when Joe Biden got diagnosed with prostate cancer, I thought for sure that Trump was gonna like say some shit about it and like trash talk him. And the first statement was like, "Oh, our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family." Uh, and I was like, "Wow, that's really a tame thing for Donald Trump to say." And then that went completely off the rails, and he went deranged. And now MAGA is saying that like he knew he had prostate cancer for the whole entire 10 years or whatever. He was hiding it.
Yeah, it's a aggressive cancer, but for some reason he already knew, because we just have to blame everything on him because he plans everything out. He's diabolical, damn it. But no, I have heard some Trump supporters say the same thing, like, oh, they've been hiding that for a long time. Like, listen, he's an old man.
Well, and like, okay, if here's the thing, like, if he had prostate cancer, right, 10 years ago, let's just say he did. He didn't, but let's say he did. That means that, like, he didn't get treatment for 10 years. For some weird reason, did not get treated for it. Chose to let it progress this far, and then announce in 2025 that he has prostate cancer, stage 4, or whatever it is. Makes
And
no sense.
yeah, and why? What was it, Sunday? Why Sunday? What's so
Yeah, yeah.
significant? What was he trying to derail on Sunday? Because I know somebody else's tactic, which is every time there's a big event, do something so that everybody looks a certain way. Like, we can see that. We're not dumb.
We ain't dumb, bro. But uh there Trump did post something that was really funny on Truth Social. Like I think it was a day or two after the whole prostate cancer thing. Uh and I want to read exactly what he said, and if it sounds deranged and sounds like I'm not saying anything that makes sense, it's because it's literally his words.
Yeah,
Um
that
so
makes
he goes,
facts.
how much did Kamala Harris pay Bruce Springsteen for his poor performance during her campaign for president? Why did he accept that money if he is such a fan of hers? Isn't that a major and illegal campaign contribution? This is all in caps, by the way, full
Of
caps.
course,
Um,
gotta yell at us.
what about Beyonce? And how much went to Oprah and Bono or Bono? How you fuck say his name? Is it Bono? I
Bono.
think it's Bono.
I think
And
it's
then he
Bono
switches
because my mom
to
loves Bono.
regular fonts, like not caps. I am going to call for a major investigation into this matter. Candidates aren't allowed to pay for endorsements, which is what Kamala did, under the guise of paying for entertainment. In addition, this was a very expensive and desperate effort to artificially build up her sparse crowds. It's not legal for these unpatriotic entertainers. This was just a corrupt and unlawful way to capitalize on a broken system. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
I'm so. What did Bruce Springsteen do for Kamala Harris? Because maybe that's the first thing that I'm missing.
I think he literally just played at one of her rallies. That was it.
Oh,
And like
okay.
endorsed
So
her. But like
he played at a rally And doesn't Trump have people, or he tries, but maybe most of them reject him, and that's why he's so upset about this, and now it's illegal?
He gets he gets Kid Rock. It's all he gets, and
It's not our fault. That's not our
it's
fault.
not our fault.
Quit sucking, and maybe somebody else will like you.
Right?
Like,
And it's
just,
also
it's
like
not our fault.
it's but like Bruce Springsteen has always been a Democrat. He's always been a liberal. He's never been a Republican. Like, it's not a surprise.
Yeah, but it's illegal that you are not about Daddy Trump. Like, it's illegal. You can't not like, if you don't support him, straight to jail, straight to hell.
Straight
It's
to
not
jail.
even straight to jail. It's straight to hell.
Straight
Because
to El
he will
Salvador.
make it
Just
hell.
straight there. I'll make
Yeah. I just
uh
I don't understand. I'm sorry that only Kid Rock wants to play for you, but is that illegal? So should he also be pissed at Kid Rock? Oh, but it's not for you, right?
also, like, Beyonce is literally, isn't she a billionaire? Like, she doesn't need the money. Well, I don't get. It's not like
I'm pretty sure
Kamala
that she's
paid her.
queen and she doesn't give a shit what anybody wants. Like, she's gonna do whatever she wants.
Right? She's Beyonce. She can do what the fuck she wants. And Oprah is Oprah. Like, they're already rich. Like, it's not like they're gonna just need the money. They're not Elon Musk.
I mean, if we're talking about somebody who really needs the money, isn't that Daddy Trump?
I every time they call him Daddy Trump, I lose. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, y'all are so fucking weird.
I thought that's his name.
Daddy's home. Daddy's home.
That's not his name? Shit.
Fuck. But MAGA is also big mad about the whole plantation burning down, which is hilarious. I don't even know what the name of the plantation was, but so fucking funny that it burned down, and they're so mad that people are celebrating.
I guess I hadn't heard that, but it doesn't surprise me, unfortunately. But they're pissed about it? Like,
They're pissed, and that is one of the. So I got into several Facebook arguments. Okay, one of them was on an article about that, and the whole MAGA bullshit movement were like saying racist shit, like, oh, it's a piece of history. You're gonna erase history. Like, what do you mean erase history? Because, like, we can still teach the horrors that happened at that plantation. You don't need a magnificent house.
they're getting mad about erasing history while censoring and blocking us. Make it make sense. Just make
Make it fuck. They also have the stupidest argument. So another article I saw, or there was a picture, because it's Memorial Day coming up. There's a picture of a little boy in Virginia at a cemetery where there's a lot of Confederate people buried, and I guess one of these people buried there were his ancestors, or multiple ancestors, whatever. And he was like kneeling. This little boy is kneeling at the person's grave. So first of all, indoctrination. Second of all, kneeling at the grave, and the title was like, "Oh, this boy is respecting his ancestors who fought courageously in the Civil War." And I'm like, "Alright, you guys claim that you aren't racist. You claim you're not racist, but who flies the fucking Confederate flag all the time?"
Yeah. I heard how you basically respond to somebody who's like, well, why would you think I'm racist just because I voted this way? And listen, like, you are putting aside what you're willing to put aside and normalizing what, like, the party that you're upholding. And when you have a party that has a bunch of white supremacists backing it, you're saying that you're okay with that for your own personal gain. And I just,
100%.
you're racist. You're racist.
Like, don't hide it. Just admit you're racist. Just come out and just acknowledge it.
I don't
Admit
even,
it. Okay.
I've heard it from multiple people recently who have just come out and said that they are racist. Like, I think that this is something that is getting really normalized to the point that people are feeling comfortable with revealing themselves. And like, I don't know if that's any better. I think just do better. Just do better. Because what the
Yeah.
fuck? I thought that we were so much further than this. And then the way that we can backslide this much in less than 10 years, I just can't. It's incredibly disappointing.
Yeah. I too. I knew we weren't past racism. Like, I knew obviously racism was not dead and all that stuff, and discrimination is still alive and well. But holy fuck, the amount of people who are just openly racist nowadays, it's disheartening and kind of just like heartbreaking because
Yeah.
it's you didn't know that, and then you just see all these fucking people come out of the woodworks like, oh, it's okay to be racist now.
It's younger generations. Like, yeah, I had I know my grandpa was racist and I was ashamed growing up. Like, there's so much shame there, especially if he said anything. Because, like, you can only say something to grandpa so much. You're never going to change him. But, like, so much shame behind it because they don't believe that way. And it's just, like, people who are, like, our age, people who are younger than that. I didn't realize how bad it was that people they don't have any of that recognition in themselves. They're just,
Mm-hmm.
nope, I'm okay being this person. I'm going to openly say this to anybody. I'm going to say, oh god, there's the things that I've heard on TV. Like, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's disgusting, and I hate that we were at this point in the world. It's like not even just America either. I was talking to a coworker who two coworkers, one who's in Canada, one who's in Germany, and they were asking if I'd ever been like to either country, and I was like, no, but both are really looking appealing nowadays because of what's happening in America. And the German coworker was like, well, yeah, but that's also happening here in Germany. The right wing is rising up and it's becoming more and more prominent. Like, what the fuck happened that like is making the world just slide back into horrible, fucked up shit?
Well, do you remember when Trump got elected and they appointed Musk? Musk did his salute, and then he went to Germany and he was telling them not to be ashamed of their past and to be proud. Like, I don't think that it's all them, but I think that they've, like, that part of society must have had things in the works for a really long time.
Yep.
I just can't believe I'm on this timeline. Like, thinking of where, like, just when thinking of me being like a little kid and learning about racism and thinking of like where I thought that things were in like the early 90s to now 2025, like, wow, unreal, and not in a good way.
I thought we were trending better and we had Obama and we had not one, but two female presidential candidates. I was like, okay, well, at least we're trending in the right direction. But both were seemingly overwhelmingly, in a way, shot down, which
Yeah.
is a
I,
load of horseshit.
if that doesn't show you, like, I feel like that was the intro for me that America hates women because, man, yeah, I saw that going a different way with Hillary, and then since then, just seeing how America hates women. We're lucky we can have bank accounts and credit scores because, I mean, lucky, not lucky, but
I
like
mean,
that could be
pretty
taken away
soon.
anytime too.
Yep.
These are
Yeah, I
dark
saw
times.
a. It is. I saw there's this TikTok creator, a big political guy, and he was talking about the whole like Russian propaganda from like 2016 and 2020. Or, I'm sorry, 2024. Um, and in 2016, it was really obvious. Like they had essentially the FBI leaked the criminal investigation into Hillary, which kind of like threw everything into a whole tailspin and cost her the election. Without that happening, Trump would have lost in a big way, and this would all be in a different timeline. But that was 2016 and 2024. Instead of like being so blatant, the Russians infiltrated essentially the leftist media and pushed them to push this narrative like that no matter what happens, if you vote for the Democrat, it's going to be this bloodbath in Gaza, and like how Trump was like going to be better for them. And so if Trump happened to win, it's going to be a better situation and they'll be fine. Versus if Kamala or Biden had won, it'd be this fuckfest. And so a bunch of leftists, got on social media and they spout all this bullshit narrative, and essentially, I don't know if it cost the whole election, but I'm sure it didn't help in
Yeah,
certain areas.
I think there were many things. I kind of blame Biden. He said he wasn't going to run again, and then he did. And I feel like that was a big reason. Like, I know I didn't trust him. Like, you said you were only going to do the one time. Not a lot was done. You're an old man. Please back off. And him staying in it for so long, I feel like really, really fucked things up.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a bunch of shit. But I do agree. Yeah, it like Biden staying in so long fucked it up because if you had, I feel like people didn't like Kamala because they were like, oh, some people were like, oh, she was inserted in here, wasn't fairly elected, even though it's a bullshit narrative. Like they got the idea that she wasn't fairly elected. So if he had an open primary, whoever was chosen essentially would have been probably a lot different than the current administration was, and that would have been like enough, I think, enough to like make people go Democrat again for 2024. But
I was honestly absolutely shocked how it went. Yeah, I'm still shocked. Truly.
there was a Republican, always a fucking Republican. I don't remember his name, but he was a Republican lawmaker who this week suggested uh, that I think Israel or America should just nuke Gaza. Like, just nuke it, clear it out. I'm
Of
like,
course.
that's okay. Well, we've reached that point. That's the ultimate bad.
Yeah, we are in the bad place for sure. Like, and they feel completely comfortable saying that. That's ridiculous. How did we end up here?
I'm pretty sure it's the whole Triscuit and Quadriscuit thing that happened. We didn't
I
get
just
that
don't
done.
understand. We don't deserve this. We
We don't.
we need the quadriskit. Somebody, please do this for us because we'll never make it ourselves.
Someone please go back in time.
For the love of God, make a quadriskit.
Make a fucking quad. At least make it for us. I mean, just please make it for us. So that's the bad news. Always the bad news. Now I am reinstituting for this episode the beef corner. Okay, I have two
Hell yeah.
beefs this week. Number one, we've talked about Cinderella and we've talked about Snow White in the past. Sleeping Beauty, okay? This one I have a huge beef with. I haven't seen Sleeping Beauty for 25 years or whatever. Hadn't seen it since I was a kid, essentially. But I did not realize that Aurora, so the main character, is promised and betrothed to Prince Philip, I believe is his name,
Always a Philip.
when she when she was born, and he's 7. And so he's like in one of the scenes, he's like standing over her crib, and they're like, "Oh, this is gonna be your wife." That's so fucking weird. Not only that, he finds like he's out in the woods doing his little whatever hunting shit, and he comes across her when she's hiding. She's 16 years old, and he's hitting on her, and he's like 22, 23 years old, and
Yeah.
that is like the story. That's so weird.
That is
I never
so
realized that.
I mean, I wasn't a big Sleeping Beauty kid. I mean, it felt like the same thing as like Snow White. She sleeps, whatever. But my first bartending job, they did call me Aurora. Because they said I look like a Disney princess, but like the bitchiest of them all. So she must have been, because she was really tired.
The bitchiest one of them all.
Yeah, somebody even made me a sign that said Aurora, and I found somebody with that name and gave it to them because I was like, I don't need this giant metal sign of a name that's not mine.
Aurora. Well, that's true. I'll change your name to Aurora on my phone.
Yeah, I have, you know what? I have newfound beef with Sleeping Beauty because that does seem weird. Because I'm like, once you get to a certain age ain't nothing but a number. That's much, much older than infant and much older than the 1623 thing.
And like, I think, well, I guess technically she was 15 because she was turning 16 that next day. So like, she was 8 years essentially younger than him. Also, there's a plot hole here. So they're hiding her in this cabin, right? Because she has to, I don't even know the real reason, but it's like she has to pass her 16th birthday, or Maleficent, if she finds her by 16, can like put her in the spell, whatever. So they celebrate her 16th birthday by taking her to the kingdom a day early to be there when she turns 16. And I'm like, why didn't you just wait till she turns 16 in hiding? And then after she's 16, take her to the castle. Don't tell her she's 16 until she gets to the castle. Like, oh, today's your birthday. Your real birthday was yesterday. Like, they didn't do that, and so they get caught, and she almost died.
Yeah. Bunch of idiots.
Bunch of morons.
Yeah, like that's the best I got. Like this movie all around terrible. 0 out of 10.
Terrible. 0 out of 10. My second beef, okay, is with TikTok. So you saw my video on the whole like people making content about how TikTok's terms have changed and you're gonna get banned if you do this, that, and the other. And all of it's cringy as hell and all of it's bullshit. The real thing is that they changed the terms and you can't get monetized or suggest it to the algorithm if you do those things. If you use a green screen or if you're stitching, you won't get in the creator fund or whatever for those videos, which is
that
bullshit.
why I've seen less stitching?
Yeah, that's why you see a lot less stitching now.
Yeah,
But
people are like, go watch the original video. I'm like, well, you didn't stitch it, so I can't figure out how to find the original video.
But so I didn't have I honestly didn't care about the whole thing until I went onto our podcast page, and every single video was marked as ineligible for the algorithm, and the reasoning is unoriginal content. And I was like, okay, maybe some of these videos, like the stories we're telling, like the Reddit stories or like whatever. No, it's literally us beefing with somebody, like in these conversations we're having, or like talking about Mormons, like last week's episode, and TikTok says it's not original.
Is it because we're recording it elsewhere? Because have you tried to record straight onto TikTok? Because it's a piece of shit. You have to record it on your own camera phone, or you have to find a different way to record it and then upload it, because TikTok's camera shit. I've recorded 10 minutes so many times and it just erases the whole thing.
It sucks. I'm mainly do use TikTok to record it, but I did a whole cooking video where I was making like chili, and I was like going step by step, and it erased the whole thing when I was done, and I was so annoyed because it was like I can't get that back. My step by step instructions, they're all gone now. So this is a wasted time in my life. So, fuck you, TikTok. Okay,
Yeah, fuck you, TikTok. Yeah, we're both pissed.
We're both pissed.
We should have this beef every single week just so that we can say fuck you to TikTok.
Fuck you, TikTok. Fuck you, TikTok. My third beef is with a guy that I fought with on Facebook who asked how the weather was in my area. And I was like, that's really weird, dude. Like, and I blocked him right away, but
you didn't want to find out how he knows the weather in your area, or
he definitely found me on LinkedIn.
How do you know?
Because my location is private on Facebook, only to friends. And if you Google my name is so, why does my screen go dark? My name is so unique that I instantly come up. So, fuck you, mom and dad.
Yeah.
Fuck you, mom and dad.
Fuck you, TikTok. Fuck you, mom and dad. We're having beef with everybody. Who's next?
I have beef with cockroaches now. So here's our scary facts of the day. A cockroach can live for over a week, without its head. Fuck you, cockroaches.
Fuck you, cockroach. I have PTSD from cockroaches.
You had a lot when you're in your Arizona, right? You were in Arizona,
No, I saw maybe a couple when I was there, and honestly, they have giant ones that are scary, like sewer cockroaches are pretty big, and then they had monsoon beetles, which are even bigger, that look like giant cockroaches. I actually called an exterminator to come in because I found a monsoon beetle, and they were like, "Homegirl, that's not a roach." It's like, oh, my bad. Looked like a roach to me. Looked like the biggest roach I've ever seen. But when I lived in Washington, I lived on the second and third story of an apartment. Like, our second went up to the third, and the people below us got evicted like a month after we moved in. And when they got evicted, it cut off the roaches' food supply because they just had a nasty situation there. And the people, like, so they moved out. There's no food supply anymore. Then the people who were like renovating the apartment took out the oven and the microwave. And I guess that there were just like hundreds. And they said it was really, really bad. And so then the roaches scattered into the rest of the building. So we had them coming out of outlets. Like, I had to keep all my food in like storage totes and Tupperware containers. Every single night before bed, my son would go and check on the roach trap. Yeah, like, I was like, this is traumatizing. And I worked from home at that point. And so I went and got a new job because I couldn't be home all the time. Like, I would see a random roach going across my desk. I'd be like, well, gotta go. Can't sit here. I'm weirded out. And yeah, they were everywhere.
That's fucking disgusting. Fuck you, Washington.
Fuck you, Washington. Yeah, I tried to get out of that lease and they wouldn't let me out of it. That was the worst 10 months of my life. Like 9 months of it, we had roaches.
That's fucking landlords for you too. Like, we don't give a shit about your health conditions going on.
They told me that if I put my notice in by the 10th, I could be out by the 30th when I first signed my lease. And so then I told them that, and they're like, oh no, you have to stay to the end. And it was like, you've sprayed like 4 times and the roaches are somehow worse. And they were like, we're doing our part, so that's all that needs to happen. You're basically stuck.
They probably were like making it like very procreation friendly in that where the cockroaches live. Like, oh, start procreating.
Yeah,
We need Stephanie out.
the exterminator said that if they know where they're coming from, you can stop the source. But the problem is that their nests could be in the walls,
Oh
and
my
then they
god.
can't get to them.
Fuck that. No, I'm terrified.
Yeah, they were literally everywhere. It was freaking nasty.
I saw I think I sent you this video where like there was a whole beehive in the wall at someone's house. Yeah. They fucking like heard like buzzing noises for like ever, and they just cut the wall open like fucking a giant ass nest. Or a
See,
hive, you wanna call it a hive.
I feel like that's why. Well, okay, knock on wood. I haven't seen any stink bugs lately, but like every day I was seeing stink bugs in my room, and there's definitely like an open part of my wall because my office area used to be my closet, and we tore that shit off, but we never like kind of repaired it. Like maybe I can show just a small. So like
Oh yeah.
yeah, there's another one on the other side that's kind of like a hole in the wall a little bit. It's not too deep,
Jesus.
but yeah, I was like, that's probably where the stink bugs are coming from.
Stink bugs aren't too bad though. I mean, I guess they're annoying, but and they stink like fucking shit if you squish them or if you touch them. But
I don't squish them. I grab them very gently with toilet paper and then I flush them.
yeah, okay, along the same lines, I fucking hate ants. Ants are the worst. I don't know where they're coming from. I think it's like a break in the fucking seal of the house in the kitchen somewhere, because I will if I leave one dish in the sink that happens to have like butter on it, then the next day it's like they're swarming it. I'm like, fuck you. Go to hell, fucking motherfuckers.
Seriously, we have the same problem if we leave butter out. My cat really likes it. She will eat that. Not really an ant problem, but in Oregon, our city, everybody always says, I think that it was built on an anthill.
And that's why you like to squish and smell ants.
No, I squished them all. There's not a problem around here. Problem solved. Squish them, sniff them. Won't have an ant problem anymore. You scared them.
So this is less scary and more just creepy. A man sculpted a statue of himself using his own hair, teeth, and nails. And I tried to find a picture of it, but that's a very particular image to look up.
Did he take his teeth out for the sculpture?
I think so.
So now his sculpture has teeth and he doesn't.
Yes. I'm assuming he was probably an old man at this point. Hopefully, near death, near expiration.
Mom, he's like, my sculpture will live on. That's disgusting. But now I kind of want to see it, so I'm going to be Googling.
Chickens can spontaneously change sex from female to male. So, stuck on that, MAGA.
What?
Chickens can spontaneously change sex from female to male. That's why in Jurassic Park they were all females in the movie and on the island, but they were able to change sex and procreate. Life finds a way.
I don't know enough about chickens, apparently.
Chickens make great eggs. There's a lady on Facebook near me who has a chicken coop, and she has too many eggs all the time, and she posts them for free. And so I have
For
my
free?
Costco eggs for free. Doesn't even charge for it. Free
In
99.
this economy? That's amazing.
I
My
know,
coworker
and they're
charges
delicious.
$5.
That's not too bad, but still.
I buy them.
But farm fresh eggs are so good. They're so yummy.
Yeah, and
They're so
I feel like they're not selling as many chickens to people this year. In my area, there's like a 6 chick limit. So any place that you're going to, they're only going to give you 6 chicks. And apparently, my coworker's husband schmoozed like 3 different places. So they called him when they got their chicks. So he ended up with like 8 more than he had planned on. Whoops.
Skirting the rules.
I
Whoops.
know. I wish I could have some chickens, except for I'm just so weirded out by them. I'm going to need to go watch a video later. They can change their sex. I thought that roosters were male chickens.
I think they are, aren't they?
But then if chickens can change their sex, they can become roosters?
No, I think they just become male chickens
Oh,
and probably don't lay eggs.
wow. I don't know. This is so weird.
Science is crazy.
I just feel like I'm on the wrong timeline. I think on my timeline, chickens were just female. Pretty positive.
Dead bodies can still get goosebumps.
What?
Mm-hmm. Dead bodies can still get goosebumps.
For how long?
However long I mean, most people don't hang around dead bodies for more than a few days, but like,
I know, but sometimes don't they put the dead bodies like in the freezer
they do.
at like morgues?
I assume it's just like if you're not probably not like prepared for your funeral yet.
Yeah, but so do you have goosebumps when you go in to get your hair and makeup done?
I think so. I would guess so.
I'm
That's my
interested.
guess.
If you work in a morgue, reach out to us. Let us know.
You know, if you work in a morgue, come on the show.
We
I
want
have
to
a lot
talk
of
to you.
questions. Yeah, a lot of questions that I'm too scared to ask.
Yes. That's all I'm going to say to
Funeral
that.
homes are scary.
Yes, they are. I want to know everything. Were you one of the people who works at a funeral home that has to go pick up the bodies? Tell us your strangest stories.
Yes, and like I want to hear scary stories too. I want to hear like the scariest story that ever happened to you. I just can't imagine like hanging around dead bodies at like 2 a.m. Like you're working
Who
late.
works at 2 in the morning?
Well, you gotta go pick up a dead body.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to pick it up, I was just like, if you're going to work at the morgue, I hope you work during daytime hours.
I would assume they probably have someone on staff like a security guard at the facility overnight.
Do you think so?
If you were a security guard who works at a funeral home or a morgue. Ooh, I saw this. I might have sent this to you a long time ago. I saw a story where it was on the news where 911 in this area, I don't recall where it was, maybe like Oklahoma or something. They got a phone call, a dropped call. Well, it connected for like 30 seconds, whatever. No one said anything, and then it disconnected. And it was pinged in a funeral home.
You didn't send this to me.
I didn't send it to you? Shit. Yeah, it was a 911 call. Caller called in, and they traced where it came from, and it pinged this funeral home. And obviously, pings aren't accurate, like the T, so it could have been like the cemetery in the area as well, or the funeral home. But either way, it pinged in that general, like, quarter-mile radius, and they did not figure out. They went there, they looked around, didn't see anybody. Nobody was in the funeral home, and to this day, I have no idea who did it.
I hate that they know where it came from.
I would hate to be, I mean, first of all, a cab, but I would hate to be the cop that has to like answer that call, like drive to this cemetery and investigate a 911 call.
Yeah. No. You live close to a cemetery. Do you ever have to go out that way? I wouldn't want to. Like, sorry, it's after dark. I actually don't leave my house.
I drive past that all the time at night because, like, It's not even on the way. I can go. It's like past my house, but it's like when you drive past it, the gates are always open, even though it's the hours are like until 10 p.m. or whatever. And but you can see like a bunch of the headstones have like decorations that are like lit up and like candles that are like battery powered candles.
Solar
Um,
powered.
or yeah, that. And so you can see like in the distance all these little lights like lit up in the cemetery, and it's a huge cemetery, so it's pretty eerie.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But
I don't know where the closest cemetery to my house is, but I used to have to pass one on my way to school and didn't like that either. But then I also had a weird time in my life that I would go to cemeteries and I would just drop off flowers at random spots. Um, but I had this weird thought on that, on like, what if I was dropping off flowers to somebody who wasn't a good person?
oh, that's right.
And yeah, I don't know. I still
Was
feel
it
weird about that.
you? Was it you told me the story about how that lady did that where she like put flowers in some random person's grave for like a long time, and turns out that guy was like a pedophile or something.
Something like that. I feel like, yeah, I feel like that was a story that I heard for sure. I don't know if did I tell you it?
I feel like you might have. I feel it seems like something that you told me.
It's just like, I don't know if it's, I can't even think if it's like a real story or if it's something that somebody knew somebody, but it feels like one of those things that like would come up in like an ethics class. Like, how would you feel about this? And I don't know. It makes you second guess. Like, I just want to go pay some respects, especially if you go to one that has like flowers that fell over and there's like a broken vase or something. Then you just like go clean it up a little bit because they probably don't get a lot of attention. I don't know. I think it's cool that people have people that will go and pay them respects, but it does feel like the dead kind of like they're remembered, but they're kind of forgotten too.
Well, this cemetery has a bunch of sadly, a bunch of babies. It's like
Mm.
they have graves from like the 1800s and like the early 1900s. So you could be safe and just put them on those graves.
Yeah, that does feel safe. One of them's like an evil Chucky child.
One of them died like trying to murder their brother. I'm like, oh, god damn it,
Well,
god mother.
I don't think, at least hopefully not traumatizing anyone who's living still these days.
Cemeteries are really, really popular places to be. People are just dying to get in there.
Not anymore. It feels like
But every
cremation. It's the way to go.
right, every time my brother comes to visit, he flies in. I always pick him up and I take him. He's always like getting in at like midnight too, because obviously it's East Coast. Um, and I always take him to the cemetery and drive into it at like 12 midnight, and then I'll stop the car, turn the car off, lights off, and everything. Like, get out.
Every
You
time?
won't get out every time without fail.
You don't even have your car full of stuff?
No,
You're brave. You just got to have your
I'm so
brother with
brave.
you.
He's a ghost deterrent apparently.
Apparently. You're lucky. Try it by yourself.
The last terrifying fact I have for you is that the freshwater snail is responsible for more than 200,000 deaths a year, which is more than sharks, lions, and wolves combined.
How?
Parasite. Um, and they essentially, you get it from, you come in contact with them when you're swimming, wading in the water, or just going in the water in general. And the snails get on you and penetrate your skin, and then lay eggs, and then you're dead.
What?
Mm-hmm.
This is scarier than the brain eating amoeba.
Yeah, they penetrate right through your skin, migrate through your body, end up in your blood, or they can live for many years, even decades. It's not the worms that actually cause disease to people, it's the eggs. And those eggs have sharp barbs because they eventually need to make it back out of the human body and back into the water. And yeah, so the eggs can lodge in different tissues and cause severe symptoms ranging from anemia to fatigue, all the way to various severe symptoms and even death in about 10% of chronic cases.
So it's the worm, it's not the snail.
Yeah, but the worms are on
The
the snail.
snail's
So
the carrier.
technically, yeah. So technically they cause it by proxy, I guess.
Where
Wanna
are
be.
they?
Mm, mostly in Africa, Asia, and South America.
Oh, thank goodness.
And they infect 250 million people.
1,000.
Well, they infect 250 million and they kill 200,000.
Okay. Okay. That makes more sense. Wow. That is wild. So you really should use caution if you handle snails and slugs.
Mm-hmm.
I was such a
Uh,
snail, slug, worm kind of kid.
as a kid, I just killed them. Not snails, but slugs.
I didn't actually know anything about slugs. It was purely snails, but I would have like little homes that I built for my snails. And my neighbor Calvin threw them in the road, and one time a Jeep just drove right over him. Never forget.
R.I.P. There was one time, not a snail, it was a turtle. I was driving home from work and I saw a turtle crossing the road. And I was like, fuck, okay, cool. So I gotta turn around and get it out of the road. So it was not a really busy road, so I had plenty of time. I should have had plenty of time. So I pulled over, got out of the car, went into my trunk to like get something to like scoot it out of the road because I think it was like a snapping turtle. I don't want to pick it up and get bit. So I'm like in my trunk grabbing like a newspaper or whatever to push it out of the road with. And I turn to go back into the road and a car flies past and hits the turtle on the head. And so I just sat there and like I'm watching this now headless turtle just laying in the road. I was like, well,
That
fuck
was,
me.
it was close. You're you're close to saving him.
I was very close. Almost did it.
You know, life happens when you're busy making plans.
Yes.
R.I.P.
I'll put that on that turtle's headstone. Life happens when you're busy.
You did not make that turtle a headstone. You found a headstone and you threw that shit in the trash. You did not make that turtle a headstone.
Hey, I would never disrespect a turtle that way, okay? I would only disrespect a dog that way.
I'm sorry, Bailey. R.I.P.
Or Buddy Bailey. One of the two. I wish I could take a picture of it. I at least know what the name said. But
It's Bailey to me. R.I.P. Bailey.
R.I.P. Bailey. Maybe you're haunting me now.
And
Who
R.I.P.
knows?
Turtle. I don't know what to call him.
We'll call him Perry.
Perry?
Perry the turtle.
Perry the turtle. That's
Perry
adorable.
the turtle. Headless turtle in heaven now. In turtle heaven.
R.I.P.
Maybe that's why we were in this hellhole, because that did happen in 2017. So
You did this?
it's not Harambe, it's Perry the turtle that caused the
No, it had to be
timeline.
pre-2016.
All right, so it's the quadrisket.
It's the Quadrisket. Somebody,
Fucking
please make us a Quadrisket.
Someone fucking please make
For
us
the
a
love of
goddamn
God.
Quadrisket. I will do anything for a Quadrisket. So, I figured this week we would read some Reddit. According to the person that posted these stories, they're real stories, and they're some are from Let's Not Meet. So, again, I can't prove they're real, but they say they're real, so we will go ahead and believe them. Take it with a grain of salt.
I'll be the judge of that.
I'll be the judge of that. The first one is Who Chased Me in the Southern Utah Desert by Baby Arms and Throw Up.
Oh, yeah, I definitely believe so.
I was in my 20s, young and full of ambition. At the time, I was a raging alcoholic and drug addict. My memory is kind of hazy, and I do apologize if most details aren't there, and major other events are left out. Anyways, I moved to Salt Lake City, Utah from Arizona, and I had gotten a job as a service tech. One of these jobs I went on was adding devices for equipment on a string of gas stations starting from St. George to Salt Lake, slowly working my way up state to Salt Lake City, hitting every store that was needing these devices. I cannot recall exactly where I was for the life of me, somewhere between Richfield and another town, or one of those small towns in between. I had finished a store late, about 11 p.m. or so, and wanted to get to the next town over so I could continue my work in the morning rather than drive 2 hours in the morning. As I am driving down the highway, Google Maps told me to take this dirt road to get to the town I was working in next. Hesitant on why this was a route they were telling me to turn left onto, I took the left, which was a long dirt road with nothing around me, pitch black darkness other than my high beams. About 5 minutes into my drive, my truck makes a sputter. It was an old 2008 work truck. I cursed under my breath and put it in park. I lifted the hood and nothing seemed to be wrong. I do have mild mechanic knowledge and tried my best to self-diagnose. Of course, I look down at my phone and see I have no cell service at all. I check my work phone and the same thing. My only option here was to pretty much either wait it out until daytime or find a spot where I can get a bar of service. So I took option 2. Also, I usually carry firearms, but this trip I had forgotten to bring with me. Wielding a 10-inch pipe wrench and a Milwaukee flashlight, I walked into the desert, determined to be rescued from the dark abyss. I'd like to add that this road was barely paved. I mean, you could not even take a truck on this unless you had to, or it led to a specific point. I wouldn't even call it a road, more of a trail. And brush and trees line the trail like a natural wall. I'm not an anxious or scared very easily kind of person. I grew up in Arizona, so I was pretty used to the dark, quiet desert. Every step further from the truck made me feel more tense. I walked for about 10 minutes until I heard laughing. Kind of muffled laughing, something you'd hear out of a kid's show. Right behind me, and I swung around quickly. But there was nothing. My boots were sinking into the mounds of sand as I quickly just kept pushing forward. My heart was beating out of my chest like a ticking time bomb. And then I hear it again. This time closer and louder. Like it was 4 to 5 feet away from me. I'm fully sprinting into the desert brush and sand now. Eyes darting like lasers around for somewhere to hide. I do not believe in paranormal or aliens or anything like that. I just figured it was some kind of deranged desert hobo or something. The adrenaline coursing through my body, I hid behind a rock that was nearby. Crouched down, my right knee hurt by all the rocks in the ground, but I didn't care. I needed to hide. The rocks were one of those 3-foot-ish mound of rocks, and the moon was shining so bright I could see some of the things out there. As I am scanning the desert, I see silhouettes of two people running. I can barely make them out, but my eyes had then adjusted to the dark abyss. I forgot to mention after a while of this running, I turned my flashlight off to not give away my location. And then I hear them talking. But I'm far enough away to not be able to understand what they are saying. I literally sent out a message to my family and friends saying I love them and that I'm sorry for anything I had done in my life. Which didn't send because I didn't have any service. I was just coping in a traumatic event. I'm not a small guy. I'm 5'10", 230 pounds, but I was unarmed and outnumbered, and God knows how many others were out there with them and what they were planning on doing when I was found and hopeless. I waited, but they did not leave the general location of where they were, and scrambling around like mosquitoes, I had thought of the only thing I could do. I grabbed two smallish rocks. I'm not religious, but I prayed to God that night and threw them far in a direction away from the truck and the road. I heard them scurry away towards the noise, shouting at one another as they trucked through the desert. I slowly walked through the brush back to the truck. I forgot to mention this earlier, but I had heard another set of stomping after the two had ran. This basically confirmed there were three people in the desert with me. And as I got closer, I could see the truck, and I felt like I was in heaven. Every step was closer to salvation. My boots filled with sand with every stomp into the soft, cold sand. Branches and brushes stabbed me into my cargo work pants. And then I hear them tailing me, and for the love of God, I would not turn around. I did not even care to see who or what was chasing me, and I see the truck. The driver's side door is completely opened. I had left it closed, and then I checked the back seat and flung the door open more. I flew into the driver's seat in the truck and did the most stupid thing ever, but the only thing I could think of. I started it. Why is that a stupid decision?
Yeah, I'm curious that too.
It took a few tries, but it cranked and let out a roar.
Me, because it was already
I threw
broken.
It was right. I threw the gear shifter in drive and drove. As I was driving, hauling ass down the dirt road, I saw hooded people hiding along the sides of the road, ducking as I drove by. I rolled down the window and chucked my pipe wrench as hard as I could right at one of them and sped off. I watched it do flips right into where they were. I yelled as I sped off into the pitch dark desert night. Trails of dust followed the truck as I drove. Fair warning, I did not proofread that before I put it on here. It sounded intriguing and did not realize it was full of like a lot of grammatical errors and a nightmare to read.
All I can think about is if, as he's driving away, screaming out his window after chucking that like tool, just his car or his truck just stops. Cook. And then the story ends.
That would have been so funny. Like, his only weapon he threw out. Also, okay, I don't understand how they did not find him. I get they turned the light off, but like, if you're these people, and there's a lot of you, and you see this guy, his truck stop, right? Gets out of the truck with a flashlight. Assumingly, he had the flashlight on until he heard them laughing. So you would know, if you're the only ones out there, so you're adjusted to the darkness, and he's not, you would know where he's going at first. Like, you'd be able to see where he's running. It's the desert. There's nothing out there to block your view.
Did AI write this?
You know, I'm calling bullcrap on this story. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna say AI wrote it because there are some flaws.
there is a lot of flaws, and like, I don't know why you would throw your pipe wrench, your only weapon. Like, that's your only weapon.
And you're right. It was the dumbest thing you could do, starting your car that was already broken. And then throwing your only weapon out the window. That's the dumbest
Dumb as
thing.
fuck.
I did a
So
series
dumb.
of dumb things, but the last one of throwing my only weapon at one of the random dark people that were just apparently just hiding on the side of the road.
And it didn't hit them. Like, you missed. You fucking missed. You missed,
Were they
dude.
even real?
He did say he was a drunk and an addict, so I think he probably imagined all this shit. Like, he probably was high or something, and he was like
Yeah, he's
hallucinating.
doing drugs in the desert. Who doesn't do drugs in the desert?
Also, kind of stupid though to like take a back road like that late at night. Like,
In your
not even like
old truck. First of all, 2007. It's not that old.
also like dude. Why are you getting out of your car and walking into the desert?
Yeah,
That is stupid. Like, that is
he's
how you
on
get bit by a
drugs.
rattlesnake. He's on drugs.
Drugs.
Hopefully, this next one is a little better. It seems a little promising. It's titled "My coworker invited me to a social event, which turned out to be a cult-like ritual." By Luna_Viva21. After college, I moved back in with my parents in LA. I wasn't exactly what I had pictured for myself, but I couldn't find a job in my field, and I couldn't just sit around looking for work. I took a job as a records clerk at a psychiatric clinic. It wasn't glamorous, but it did pay, and it gave me some structure at a time when I really needed it. I spent most of the day updating patient charts, organizing files, and looking busy anytime the office manager walked by. Kira was one of those medical assistants. She was nice, but a little intense, very into people. She asked a lot of questions about my weekends, my spiritual beliefs, etc. I feel like everyone knows someone like that. Every week, she invited me to hang out with her and her circle, quote unquote, which sounded less like a friend group and more like a meditation pod. I said no many times. At first, I thought she was just being polite, and then it started to feel like pressure, and eventually, I gave in. I figured it couldn't be that bad. Worst case, I'd drink some herbal tea and sit through a group discussion about Mercury in retrograde. She picked me up in a long, white linen outfit and told me we were meeting at someone's house. The closer we got, the more Kira's mood changed. I can't point exactly what was changing, but I was just getting more and more uneasy. We pulled up to this house on a side street and went inside. There were candles lit along the floor and low music playing. People were already there wearing similar linens, standing around like they were waiting for something. At first, I thought it to be a themed party, like a witchy aesthetic thing. I even laughed a little. Kira smiled and introduced me all around. Everyone was nice, and the more people I met, the creepier it got. Then a man walked in carrying a wooden crate. Inside the crate was a goat, real and alive. I still thought it had to be a joke. A weird joke, but a joke. Someone brought out a large ceramic bowl. Another person started chanting in a low voice. And then a woman lifted the gate out of the crate and said something about freeing its essence. And another person had a really sharp knife. I think I saw where it was going. Everyone was acting like this was normal, like it was just part of the evening. I turned around and walked back the way we came. I didn't say a word. I don't even think Kira realized I had left. I just got far enough from the house that no one could find me and called an Uber. It cost me $120 to get home, but I didn't care. I would have paid double. The next morning, she texted me like nothing happened. Just a casual, "Hope you got home okay," smiley face. I kept seeing her at work and she never brought it up. To her, I guess everything was totally normal. I still have no idea what that was. I don't work at that clinic anymore, but I'll be too scared to contact her and ask. I like how this person picked her up in a white linen robe. If someone pulled up to my house and they were wearing like what I would imagine a cult outfit to be, I'd be like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
See ya.
Past, I actually don't want to go. Actually, okay. I have been invited to things before that ended up being kind of a church thing. And some of them have been kind of weird, including one in high school that somebody invited me to something. Oh, we're just going to hang out, just me, some friends, and me. And then it was like this house kind of in the middle of nowhere. And it ended up being kind of like a church thing of just like a bunch of really weird people. And I called my mom immediately, like, please come get me. I need to leave. Yeah. Probably would have walked home versus staying there. I can understand the Uber. I can't understand how they got into this party to begin with.
You know, it does seem like a kind of move that I would do, like as me being Kira, like not it being a real goat sacrifice, like but like an elaborate like prank that I just like go as far as I can, like push the envelope as far as I can, as far as I
Yeah,
can to see
no,
what happens.
sure. It wouldn't be an actual sacrifice. Let's just lay that out there. Just a prank.
Just a
No.
prank.
Mm-mm. It's still peace out. Holden's going to say this was a prank. But he's into some weird stuff, man. There was a goat. There was a knife. I'm out of here. There were robes.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise.
Out of here. No way. Not dying today.
And
For
I just
all
take
I
the
know, you're
knife and
sacrificing me to the goat.
I just take a knife and go like this in my hand, just slice my hand like this is the blood the goat will drink, and then like put it in a cup and then make you drink it.
Nope. Out. Out. Nope.
That one seemed more realistic. That seemed like something that actually happened. Like I think it honestly, me, I think it's a prank. I feel like cults don't generally just invite randos to their sacrifices like that.
And you ask in the moment. You don't wait till later. If you're if you're in this and you want to know, you ask in the moment.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I would. Like, yeah,
Excuse
I
me?
could do a prank.
Excuse me, what's going on?
And next thing you know, you are the sacrifice. Because you're like, oh, she's questioning.
I probably
She's
already was the sacrifice. I'd be like, my location's turned on. My mom knows where I'm at.
And then your mom like takes off. She's in the crowd, like takes off the robe. She's like, I know, Stephanie.
You're
I don't know why
right.
your mom has that voice, but
It stacks. I'll pick somebody better. Somebody knows where I am, damn it.
Holden knows where I am, and then it's like, Holden pulls off the hood.
Yeah. Like,
Ah, surprise! It's your birthday party.
I have been telling everybody that the reason why I work on my birthday is because it's like a birthday party that no one knew they were going to. I'm so excited.
I love it.
I'm going to wear a white linen robe.
Do it.
Bring a goat.
You're gonna forget about this. You're gonna forget all about this. And when I come visit this fall, I'm gonna come dressed in a white robe. Like, I have a goat in the car, Stephanie. Let's go to the local haunted house.
I forgot to tell you, I actually have some plans out of state. I'm already left.
I'm washing my hair that day.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
This next story it's not from Reddit. It's from someone's personal blog. It's like 10 stories they compiled from across the interwebs.
It's a lot of
And it's the
stories.
first one. It's called The Strange Man in the Mountains by Derek and Jason P. My brother Jason and I moved to Colorado a few years ago. We both wanted to live near the mountains, but neither one of us could afford it alone. So we decided to share the rent on a townhome just outside Denver. This was great because we were only 10 to 15 minutes away from a long line of mountains. One thing about these hiking and camping trails is that they are very crowded. They are easy to get to, so many people, including tourists, use them all year round. And it's hard to find a quiet spot. Because of this, Jason and I planned a 3-day backpacking trip. We hoped to get away from the crowds and find some peace and quiet. Jason planned the trip, and a couple of weeks later, we drove to the trailhead. When we got there, only one other car was parked, an old, dusty SUV. It looked like it had been through a rough drive. Since there was likely only one person hiking, we started our hike in a good mood. The first day of the backpacking trip was an 8-mile hike. Most of the trail was flat until the last few miles, when we were hiking up a mountainside. It was tiring, but Jason promised the campsite would be worth it. And he was right. About 3/4 up the mountain, we found a small, flat area on the cliffside with a view of the whole valley. It was stunning, especially with the sun setting. After enjoying the view, we pitched our tents and gathered sticks and stones to make a fire pit. Once the fire was going, we sat down and talked for a long time. Suddenly, we heard something from the trail. We went silent, listening as footsteps came closer to our campsite. A minute later, a man came out of the dark and into the firelight. He wasn't wearing a headlamp, which every hiker knows is important when it's dark. As he walked up, Jason and I felt something wrong. The man had a strange grin on his face. "Hey, do you need something?" Jason asked, standing up. The man looked at Jason, then at me, still grinning. He said he was a park ranger and had been following our trail. He told us this section of the trail was closed for the season and we couldn't be here. But we knew the park was open because we had gotten permits from the state the day before. Also, real park rangers wouldn't be on a mountain trail at night. Jason and I realized something was very wrong. The man insisted, "You both need to leave with me right now. Pack up and follow me, and I'll lead you back to the trailhead." We stood there, silent and scared. The man stayed by the fire, grinning. "No, we're staying here," Jason said. The man looked at us, still grinning, then turned and walked away into the dark. We were terrified. We stayed silent for a few minutes, listening to make sure he didn't come back. Then we gathered some more sticks and rekindled the fire. We didn't sleep at all that night. Sometimes we thought we heard the footsteps, but we never saw the man again. When the sun came up, we packed our things and left, cutting our trip short. We hiked back down to our car, and the same dusty SUV was still there. We wondered if the other hiker had met the same man, and what happened to them. We notified the police, and they found nothing. The man had lied about being a park ranger, and he had tried to lead us into the woods at night. We don't know what he was planning, but it was probably something bad. We were lucky to get away, but we never found out what happened to the other hiker. I think that is the other hiker. Like that's him. He's the other hiker guy. He's
That's
the
his
hiker.
dusty car. But then wouldn't the police find him?
Maybe. Unless he was hiding out there. Or when they reported him, he like got in his car and left.
There's that. They go back. The dusty car's there. He actually did kill them. He's just some crazy man that lives in the woods, posing as a park ranger. It reminds me of a story that I heard once about two girls hiking, and there was like a man that lived out in the woods, and he like tried to, I don't know, like get them to go somewhere with them. And they said no. And then he like hit on them a little bit and they like basically hightailed it out of there. And like several people had been missing in that area or something like that. I haven't heard that story in a long time. My summaries suck.
I I I want to go backpacking one day, but I feel like it's just so risky with as many creepers as are out there.
Yeah, I don't want to go backpacking. Like creepers, Bigfoot, no thanks.
There was a this dude on TikTok, he has a YouTube channel too. He like does these like camping trips, like backpacking trips where he records the whole entire time, and he was camping at a campsite one night and he heard like walking around the campsite and he was by himself and he heard walking and then like got out of his tent with a knife in his hand, like confront this person, and could not find any person in the general area. They ran away. And like for the subsequent like 2 or 3 days after that, he consistently heard someone following him. And he was like, and I'll clarify, he was 2 to 3 days going back to his car because that third night he was there is when he heard the person, and they had to camp or hike back 2 days to his car. And the entire time he would hear someone walking in the trail behind him somewhere in the distance, like following him. And at night, he'd hear it. Like some nights he wouldn't hear it at all, but he would have a hard time sleeping because you literally don't know if they're out there, like who this fucking person is.
Yeah, I hate that. That's so scary. Like, I've only camped ever in my life at like public camp spots that you rent. I've never been backpacking. I thought about trying it one day, but I don't know. I don't think I could do it, honestly. Especially with the description, like the land was mostly flat, but we're going up a hill. How does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know. One day.
Good luck. You can go backpacking in Alaska. I'll tell everyone you got eaten by bears.
Yeah, I don't want to go back again in Alaska. That's another like. I also don't know if I want to go backpacking because like of all the stories of like the mountain lions and the bears like invading the campsites. Like they probably won't because you're loud and you got a fire and you got a gun or whatever if you have a gun on you, hopefully. But I don't know.
Yeah. I just don't know. Like, Lauren used to go backpacking in Eastern Oregon and she loved it. I'm not that outdoorsy and I'm definitely not that brave.
Yeah, it requires a lot of, I don't know. It is not something I would probably do at this point in my life anymore, but
I think I'd rather swim with sharks.
okay, let's not get crazy there. Let's not be insane. Let's not go off the deep end there.
I am willing to go off the deep end to not go backpacking.
But it's okay.
You have to carry all your stuff.
Yeah, if you swim with sharks, like you're probably gonna die. I mean, like,
Nah, sharks are not that bad. It just depends on which kind of sharks.
they're all like bull sharks, like the most aggressive sharks.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. They can't see so good. Like, I don't think they're that interested in me. But backpacking, I have to carry all my stuff for days.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, I don't need this. I'm just going to leave this here. Come back for that. It's like the opposite of the jerk when he's like, and this, and I'm going to take this. I don't need anything. Nothing at all except for this stapler.
I could see that. You leaving a little trail behind of all your like your pans and your
because
your
who
weapons.
needs it? I just won't cook that. That's fine.
I'll just eat granola bars the whole time.
That sounds great. That's my kind of backpacking trip.
The last story we'll read is called The Creepy Camper by June W. I used to go camping with my friends from college, but after we graduated, it got hard to find time. Everyone was busy, so I went camping alone. There was a camping spot we used to visit a lot, and I decided to go there because it felt safe. It was a bit far and not easy to get used to. I'm sorry, not easy to get to, but that's why I liked it. No one else was usually there because there was easier camping sites nearby. I knew the way, so I got there easily and set up my tent and stuff. And after a while, a man showed up. It's already starting off awful. A man
Yeah.
showing up.
Camp by yourself. Man shows up.
He looked like any other hiker, but he only had a small backpack. Didn't have a tent or any camping gear, and it was strange because this spot wasn't very scenic. It was nice for camping because of the open area with the trees, but not a place you'd hike to for fun. I didn't think much about it then. Maybe he just wanted a quiet place to relax. I stayed by my tent, and the man stayed on the other side of the campground. Around 6 p.m., I walked away from my tent to cook some food, and I saw the man leave. It was almost dark, and it would take about 3 hours to hike back, so it seemed late for him to be leaving, but I was happy to be alone. I boiled water with my mini stove and made a freeze dried meal. Then I went back to my tent and sat down. The sun was almost gone, so I turned on a small lantern and hung it on my tent. I realized I was alone and missed the times my friends and I would sit around a campfire and talk. After a while, I turned off the lantern and went into my tent to sleep. Sometime in the middle of the night, I woke up to the sound of footsteps nearby. It was pitch black, and I didn't know how long I had been asleep. The footsteps came closer and closer until they stopped on the other side of the campground. I felt around for my lantern, turned it on, and unzipped my tent to look out. About 20 feet from my tent, I saw the shape of a man standing where I had seen the guy earlier. It looked like the same person, but he was just standing there, not doing anything. It was the middle of the night, and this was very disturbing. He definitely saw me when I turned on my lantern, and so I called out, "Hey, are you okay?" He didn't respond or move, and I couldn't tell which way he was facing. Was he looking at me or away from me? Both options were scary. I grabbed my pocket knife from my backpack and just sat there, waiting. The next 15 minutes felt like the longest of my life as I watched the man just stand there, barely moving. Then, suddenly, he turned and walked off in the same direction he had gone before. From the way he moved, I could tell he had been facing me, so he had been staring at me the whole time. I felt chills as his footsteps got quieter and faded away. I didn't know what else to do except stay awake in case he came back. As far as I know, he never did. I left in the morning and got home safely. Since then, I haven't gone camping. I don't know what the man was doing, but it was very scary. Maybe I scared him off by waking up and watching him. But it's terrifying to think about what could have happened if I hadn't woken up.
What if he was a ghost and he was just on a loop?
That's true. What if he was just you this dude? And that would make sense. I mean, he's not interacting with you. He's just standing there staring.
That's my theory.
Some of these stories, though, I wonder if obviously this one's not as concrete. You know, it seems pretty much one way. It's creepy, and the guy was being a weirdo if he was not a ghost. But some of the stories, I imagine what the other side of the story is like. Oh, this dude was doing this thing, and it really was really creepy. And I watched him the entire time. I was staring at him, watching every move he was making. And from that guy's perspective, he's like, "Man, I was just standing here, and this other guy was staring at me for like hours."
Yeah.
I was
I was
doing anything wrong.
geocaching and I was leaving too late in the day, but I was trying to make it back to like the place that I could go get my car, but it was too late in the day, so I headed back and I stood there for a second just thinking like, what the hell am I going to do? It's pitch black out, but I think I'm at the campsite. And then this person just turns on their light and stares at me in the middle of the night. So I stared at them for a little while. They yelled at me for a second, but I don't know what they were saying. I think they were telling me to go away. Oh man, make up a whole story on this.
It's like a deaf geocacher who didn't even know he was being yelled at. Like he just, man, this fucking weirdo turned on his light and stared at me for 30 minutes, and like I was creeped out by it. Like I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I wondered if they were a ghost, and then they stared at me for long enough that I was like, better get out of here. Had to
I
tell the
reported them to the police.
dad.
Yeah, I don't know, but I just I don't know what I would do in this situation if I woke up and somebody was standing outside my tent, essentially, like
I would never
just
go
standing
camping
there.
alone, idiot.
Yeah, that's the first dumb mistake you make is go camping by yourself. That's not
Who
at
does
all
that?
weirdos.
Yeah. I want to go camping with a giant group of friends, and then I want 2 or 3 people in one tent so I can be in the middle. I'm scared of whatever can touch me from the sides.
You also have to make sure that like at least two people are slower than you. So
I only need one.
well, the two is like backup. It's like what if like this person catches up to
That's
the person
ideal.
behind you?
It's ideal, but you only need one. Maybe you
Just
also
one
need
will
one
do.
that's much faster than you, just in case whatever's hunting you is fast.
That's a good point. You just place yourself in the middle of the pack as far as running goes, and then you're safe.
I'm all about the survival instincts. If you need any help in this area, I have an instruction manual that I can put together to help you survive in the woods too. Don't go alone.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yes, that's the
Not by
motto
yourself.
actually. The motto is don't do it.
Womp womp. Don't do it.
Brought to you by Stephanie. Don't do it.
Brought to you by Stephanie, who is eating her Popeye's chicken sandwich.
I'm done with that now.
What sandwich did you get? What was
The
it?
spicy chicken
Of course.
and the Cajun mashed potatoes. And then I was going to get a Fanta because they have the red one. But I was like, my mom really likes Coke, so I'll go home and I'll share this with her because I have my hydration water, which is almost out actually.
Nice.
But then she told me that she's not drinking Coke anymore, so I drank it. All gone. So I really knocked everything out of the park today.
You did. I like your hair.
Thank you.
It looks really good. Guys, if you're on the audio version, hop over to the video version. Because Stephanie slayed.
Yeah, I got my hair cut and then she curled it. She was like, "What do you do to your hair?" And I just smiled. And she's like, "Do you do anything? You should try blow drying it because it's good for your scalp." I was like, I finally busted out my blow dryer recently because my daughter asked me to blow dry her hair. But baby steps. I told her that I will try to blow dry my hair once a week and have one day that I try to do my hair.
Baby steps, indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Baby steps. I can do this. I can be a person.
Well, everybody, thank you for joining us. Stephanie is now a person. Follow
Someday,
her advice on camping.
Yes. Don't go alone. And don't do it. Just don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. And go follow Stephanie so you can see her new hair on TikTok. So, yeah. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.